My name is Ray Callahan, 55 years old, and for the last 4 years I've been the night shift janitor at St. Mary's Medical Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mop the same linoleum floors where doctors save lives and families fall apart. I empty the same trash cans that hold discarded hopes wrapped in gauze. Most nights nobody even learns my name. They just see the guy in the gray uniform pushing the cart, the one who smells faintly of bleach and yesterday's coffee. My ex-wife Vanessa lives in a gated community outside Dallas now with her new husband, a man who owns half the car dealerships in North Texas. She sent me a birthday card last year that said, "Hope you're enjoying the simple life, Ray." Inside was a picture of her standing next to their new Escalade, smiling like she'd won something I never entered. I believed her for a long time. Why wouldn't I? I'm the guy who eats chili out of a can in a studio apartment above a pawn shop on 11th Street. The guy whose daughter, Katie, texts Kay when I ask how her nursing classes are going. The guy whose son, Mason, hasn't spoken to me since the day he told me, "Dad, you threw your life away for pride." But 3 weeks ago, something happened that made me drop my mop bucket right there in the cardiac ward hallway. A research team from Baylor in Dallas called me at 2:17 a.m. Said they'd been looking for someone with my exact bone marrow profile for 12 years. Said only 11 people on the planet match it. And what they offered me turned every bitter thing Vanessa ever said into the punchline of a joke I finally get to laugh at. This is the story of how the marrow in my bones, the same bones Vanessa called working-class stubborn, became worth more than every car on her new husband's lots combined. How a routine pre-employment physical at a hospital where I cleaned toilets led to a phone call that had private jets rerouted to Tulsa Regional Airport. How I went from invisible to indispensable in the space of one voicemail. Let me tell you about Vanessa first. We were married 23 years. She kept a running tally of who got promoted, who bought lake houses, who sent their kids to private schools we couldn't afford. When she met Dale Hargrove at a charity auction for the Children's Hospital, the same hospital I now scrub floors in, she saw dollar signs wearing a Stetson. Dale sold his first dealership at 29, his second at 32, and by 40 he owned a small empire of gleaming lots under Texas flags big enough to be seen from space. 6 months after she started volunteering on his fundraising committee, the divorce papers showed up. She took the house in Broken Arrow, the IRA, the dog, and every friend we'd ever had. Left me with a 2004 Ford Ranger that burns a quart of oil a week and a duffel bag of clothes. The texts started the day the judge signed the order. Range Rover is everything you said a truck should never be, Ray. Smooth. Maui this weekend. Remember when you thought Branson was exotic? The worst one came on Father's Day. The kids and I are at the lake house. They asked about you. I didn't know what to say. I believed I was forgettable. I was the guy who wore steel-toe boots while other men wore Italian leather. The guy who came home smelling like disinfectant instead of money. The guy whose own reflection started looking like someone else's failure. I was exactly what she said I was until a Tuesday night in September when I let the day shift phlebotomist practice a bone marrow aspiration on me because the dummy in the training lab was broken. Just helping out. Just being useful for once. Life at 55 looks like this. I clock in at 10 p.m. Badge number 1187. The night security guard Leonard nods like he's done every night for 4 years. I start on the 6th floor surgical ward where the bleach smell is strongest and the gratitude is weakest. I know every scuff mark, every sticky spot where someone dropped cherry jello and never bothered to call housekeeping. My studio on 11th Street costs $620 a month, heat included if you don't mind the radiator knocking like it's trying to escape. I sleep on a futon that smells like old pizza no matter how many times I Febreze it. My coffee pot is older than my daughter's first car. My television gets 4 channels and all of them are preaching or selling something. Katie is 26 now, finishing nursing school in Oklahoma City. She still answers when I call, but the pauses between my questions and her answers keep getting longer. Mason is 29, married, sells insurance in Plano. He blocked my number after I missed his wedding because I couldn't afford the plane ticket Vanessa wouldn't help pay for. Weekends are the worst. I drive the Ranger to the laundromat on Admiral, sit under fluorescent lights that make everyone look half dead, and read 3-year-old Field and Stream magazines while my scrubs spin. Sometimes I walk to Reese's Grocery and buy whatever meat is marked down. I eat standing over the sink so I don't have to wash a plate. The only thing I own that's worth anything is my daddy's old straight razor. He used it every Sunday morning before church, stropping it on leather while humming, "How Great Thou Art." He worked the oil fields until the silica got his lungs. Left me the razor and some advice. "Son, a man's only as good as the work he won't walk away from." I still shave with it every morning, even though the blade is so thin it sings when it cuts hair. This was my life. Small enough to fit in a mop bucket. Quiet enough that nobody heard it echoing. Then came Tuesday, September 12th. The hospital was rolling out a new donor registry program. Everyone on staff had to give a cheek swab and a quick physical OSHA requirement for handling biohazardous waste. I let Marisol, the day shift tech, practice her Marrow draw on me because the teaching dummy had a leak. She laughed and said, "Ray, you re the only person I know who let somebody stick a needle in their hip for free." I laughed too. Figured it was the most exciting thing that would happen all week. The sample sat in a fridge for 8 days. I forgot about it. Then Thursday, September 21st, 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed so hard it fell off the break room table. Unknown number, Dallas area code. I almost let it go to voicemail, but the night gets lonely and curiosity is free. "Mr. Ray Callahan?" The woman's voice was calm, but I heard papers rustling like a windstorm. "This is Dr. Lauren Patel, Baylor Center for Regenerative Medicine. We need to speak with you immediately regarding your bone marrow sample." I thought it was a wrong number until she read back my employee ID. "Mr. Callahan, your marrow expresses a rare combination of HLA markers we've designated RM19 Delta. Only 11 confirmed matches worldwide. We've been searching for a 12th donor for 12 years. Are you alone right now?" I looked around the empty break room. "More alone than you can imagine, ma'am." "Good. Don't discuss this with anyone. Can you come to Dallas tomorrow?" "We'll send a car," I laughed. I sound like gravel in a can. "Lady, I clean toilets for $12.50 an hour. I don't have tomorrow off, but I sure don't have a way to Dallas." "Mr. Callahan," she said, and her voice cracked just enough to sound human. "If you're willing, we'll have a car at St. Mary's by 6 o'clock a.m. You won't need to clock out. You won't need to come back if you don't want to. Just please." Lives are waiting. I sat down hard on a plastic chair that squeaked like it was telling my secrets. "What kind of lives?" I asked. "The kind that don't make it to Christmas without a match like yours." I thought about Katie studying pediatric oncology. I thought about Mason's little girl, my granddaughter Lily, who I'd only seen in Facebook pictures Vanessa tagged me in just to be cruel. I thought about all the nights I demopped floors where kids fought battles bigger than any adult should have to face. "Send the car," I said. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the break room microwave door. Same tired eyes, same gray stubble, same man nobody noticed. But for the first time in years, I smiled at him. The car was a black Suburban with tinted windows and a driver who called me sir like he meant it. By 6:03 a.m., I was on I-44 West, Tulsa shrinking in the side mirror. I hadn't showered, hadn't packed, hadn't even told Leonard I was leaving. My uniform was still in a plastic grocery bag on the seat beside me, the bleach smell clinging like guilt. Dr. Patel met me at Baylor's private entrance, white coat over jeans, hair in a knot held together by a ballpoint pen. She shook my hand with both of hers. "Mr. Callahan, thank you for trusting us." Behind her stood a man in a suit that cost more than my truck, and a woman with a tablet already glowing with my name. They took me to a conference room that smelled like lemon polish and new money. On the table, a folder thicker than the Tulsa phone book, a bottle of Dasani, and a plate of kolaches still warm. I hadn't eaten since a vending-worthy vending machine honey bun at midnight. Dr. Patel didn't waste time. RM19 Delta is a perfect stromal cell profile. It regenerates bone marrow in patients whose own has been destroyed by aggressive leukemia or aplastic anemia. The 11 known donors are maxed out. Bodies can only give so much. You're the first new match in 12 years. The Lawyer Ellison Grant ESQ slid the contract across. The number on page 1 made the kolaches turn to cement in my mouth. $4.1 million annual retainer. $75,000 per extraction. $7 million signing bonus wired today. Full medical for life. Housing allowance. College funds for any grandchildren. A seat on the foundation board if I wanted it. I read it 3 times, waiting for the catch. There wasn't one. Extraction? I finally croaked. The woman with the tablet, Dr. Chun, projected a 3D model of my pelvis on the wall. We harvest from the iliac crest. Local anesthetic, 45 minutes, you walk out. 4 times a year, your marrow replenishes in 6 weeks. No long-term risk. We've done it on the other 11 for a decade. Ellison Grant clicked his pen. We need exclusivity. No shopping this to competitors. Sign the NDA, then the main agreement. Bonus hits your account in 90 minutes. My phone buzzed. Vanessa. Asterisk. Heard you quit. Hope the unemployment line is kind. Asterisk, I flipped it face down. What happens to the kids who get my marrow? Dr. Patel's eyes softened. First recipient is Jonah Ortiz, age 9, Houston. ALL relapse, 0 matches in the registry. He's been on the transplant lists since he was 4. Without a donor, he has weeks. She showed me his picture. Gap-toothed grin, Spider-Man pajamas, a drawing of himself as an astronaut taped to his bedrail. My throat closed. I thought of my daddy's razor, how he taught me a man finishes what he starts. I thought of Katie's voice cracking when she told me she wanted to work oncology but couldn't he afford the loans. I thought of Lily's tiny hand I'd never held. Where do I sign? The pen was heavy, gold, engraved asterisk Baylor Regenerative Medicine asterisk. My signature looked shaky, like it belonged to someone braver. Ellison made a call. Code Callahan Green. Execute immediate transfer. My banking app pinged before the ink dried. Asterisk asterisk $7 million asterisk asterisk. The decimals blinked like they were nervous. Dr. Patel stood. We fly to Houston tomorrow for Jonah's harvest prep. You'll meet him. After that you choose where you live. Most donors pick Austin or Denver. We'll buy the house. No mortgage. I laughed, a sound I didn't recognize. I've never owned a house that didn't have wheels. That night they put me in a hotel suite bigger than my apartment. I ordered a steak I couldn't finish and watched the city lights from the 23rd floor. I texted Katie, asterisk call me when you wake up. Everything's different now. Asterisk she called at 5:47 a.m., voice thick with sleep. Dad? Are you in jail? Better, I said. I'm a match for a little boy who needs marrow. They repaying me enough to clear your loans and buy you a house if you want one. Silence. Then sobbing. Dad, is this real? Real as the $7 million in my checking account. She flew to Dallas that afternoon. We met in the hotel lobby. She hugged me so hard my ribs creaked. Mason's coming tomorrow, she whispered. He doesn't believe it yet. Mason showed with his wife and Lily on his hip. The toddler reached for my beard like it was cotton candy. I cried in front of a Hooters. Didn't care. Jonah's transplant was October 3rd. I lay on the table in Houston while Dr. Chen hummed Johnny Cash. 43 minutes later, a cooler the size of a lunchbox held enough marrow to reboot a 9-year-old's blood. Jonah woke up asking for chocolate pudding. His mom sent me a video of him eating it with a plastic spoon shaped like a rocket. 6 months later, I live in a cedar house outside Broken Bow, Oklahoma, close enough to Tulsa for Katie's weekends, far enough that pine trees drown out the city. The foundation built a collection suite in town. I drive in, give marrow, drive home. I bought the pawn shop downstairs from my old apartment and turned it into a free clinic. Leonard runs security. Vanessa called once. Community property Ray, I'm entitled. My new lawyer, paid by Baylor, sent her the divorce decree highlighted in neon yellow. She stopped calling. Mason's insurance office is now Callahan and Son. Lily calls me Pop Pop and asks if my bones are made of magic. I tell her they're made of Oklahoma grit and second chances. Jonah's cancer-free? So are 27 other kids? The list grows every quarter. I still shave with Daddy's razor every Sunday. The blade's thinner now, but it still sings. Some mornings I sit on the porch and watch the sunrise over Beaver's Bend. Coffee in a mug Katie painted that says asterisk world's okayest donor asterisk. I think about the night I mopped that cardiac ward, Invisible. I think about the man who believed he was forgettable. Turns out he just hadn't been tested yet. I won't die forgotten. My marrow will be in bloodlines 100 years from now, in kids who'll never know my name but will know their own birthdays because of it. Vanessa was wrong. The simple life wasn't to the one I was living, it was the one I was waiting to give away. And every time a new parent sends me a photo of their child running, laughing, living, I remember. Sometimes the most valuable thing you own isn't in a bank or a dealership lot. It's in your bones, waiting for the right moment to build someone else a future.